The day you brought your television home, you brought home two televisions inside one box. You have only ever used one of them. The other one is the version the engineer saw on the bench, not the version marketing wanted you to see first. The one you use has the bright slider, the color slider, the movie mode that never looks quite right. The second one is underneath it. It controls what the first one is actually allowed to do. It has been in every Samsung, LG, Sony, TCL, and Vizio built in the last 15 years. It is called the service menu, sometimes the factory menu or OEM menu. And the company that sold you the TV never put it in the quick start guide. It feels like you are in control, but you are really just moving inside a small fenced yard they painted for you. Here on Thoughtful Explains, we track exactly that kind of gap. What they built, why they left it out of the story, and what changes when you finally see it. We look for the exact line where honest design ends and quiet persuasion begins. Your TV was never calibrated for your couch. It was calibrated to survive a wall of 50 other TVs under warehouse lighting. On a retail floor, the TV that looks brightest wins. So manufacturers push the backlight beyond what is comfortable, push the color temperature into a cold blue that pops under fluorescence, and they leave motion smoothing on because movement catches a shopper's eye from 10 feet away. That is a rational decision for selling a television. It is a terrible decision for watching one. Under those store lights, a warm and accurate picture would actually look dim and lifeless next to its neighbor. That is why that movie you love looked orange on skin and thin on shadows the first night. That is why the menu you were given only lets you adjust brightness within a range that is still too bright. You were not adjusting the real control. You were adjusting a limited copy of it. You probably blamed your eyes that night, but it was never your eyes that were tired from trying too hard. Every modern television runs two separate control systems. The first is the consumer menu. It is designed to be safe. It will not let you break anything because it will not let you change much. The second is the engineering menu. Technicians use it on the assembly line to align each individual panel. Inside it you will find the true white balance controls with separate gain and offset for red, green, and blue. You will find the actual backlight ceiling, not the percentage slider. You will find motion processing at the algorithm level, so you can turn it off completely instead of turning down a softened version of it. You will even find a hidden operational hours counter that logs how long the panel has been on, which is how service centers place your TV inside the manufacturer's planned obsolescence timeline. Think of it as the difference between using a guest account and finally logging in as the admin. Access requires no tools. It requires a button sequence on the remote that exists in every service manual. Those manuals were written for authorized repair centers. They were never marketed to you, but they are public documents if you know where to look. They were never hidden by encryption, only by obscurity. The reason this was never promoted is simple economics. A certified ISF calibration, the industry standard for home theater, costs between $200 and $500. The calibrator arrives with a colorimeter and a laptop, and most of that appointment is spent adjusting the core values I am about to give you. If the instructions were printed on page 1 of the user manual, that revenue disappears. Professional calibration is a real skill, but the specific door to get in has been kept invisible to protect the business model. It is simply easier to sell you a service than to teach you a button combination. Before anything else, you create your undo button. The service menu does not have a simple restore to defaults in the way the consumer menu does, but it does contain a deeper factory initialization further inside. If you change a number without recording the original, that deep initialization is your only way back, and it wipes everything. So you take your phone and you photograph every screen before you touch anything. Every value. That photo is your safety net. In that moment when a number starts blinking, you will be grateful you have a record because memory alone will not save you. The sequences vary by brand and by model year, so always verify against your exact model number. The full chart by year is linked in the description. I keep it updated because manufacturers quietly change the code from one year to the next. For Samsung, the classic approach is with the TV powered off. You press Info, Menu, Mute, Power in sequence on the remote. Some years use Mute 1, 8, 2, Power as a variation. Most people miss the timing the first 2 tries, and then it opens perfectly once the rhythm clicks. If you have ever searched how to unlock TV, or looked for TV hacks, TV tricks, and TV secrets, this is the actual door those videos are pointing to. For LG, while the TV is on, you press Mute 3 times, then hold Menu until the menu appears. Or on newer WebOS, you hold the Home and OK button simultaneously. If your remote does not have a classic menu button, use the Settings gear button and hold it instead. For Sony Bravia, with the TV off, you press Display, 5 volume up, power. Sony hides it a little deeper, so you have to be deliberate with each press and not rush through it. For Vizio and TCL, both use a combination of menu, channel, and power keys. The exact order is different for Roku TV versus Google TV firmware, so check the link for your chassis. These two brands change the code more often than the others, so do not guess if the first try does not work. Getting in is easy. Knowing what to leave alone is what matters. The real skill here is restraint, not access. There are 3 core settings worth your time on every TV, and you change them one at a time. The first is white balance. Look for 2-point or 20-point white balance. You will see red gain, green gain, and blue gain listed separately. Most panels leave the factory with blue gain set higher than the others, often pushed toward 9300 Kelvin, so white looks icy and skin looks slightly wrong. Lower blue gain by 1 or 2 points, or raise red gain by 1 point, until a white test screen looks neutral to your eye around 6500 Kelvin, not blue-white. Exit. Watch real content for 10 minutes, then decide if you need another single point. That patience is what separates a better picture from a broken one. The second is the backlight ceiling. This is not the brightness slider you know. This is the absolute current the panel is allowed to draw. Manufacturers often set that ceiling high, and on many sets the scale reads between 180 and 220 in service values. Lowering it to around 130 to 140, depending on your model, reduces heat, lowers power draw, and extends LED life, while the picture remains bright without crushing shadow detail. You will actually feel the difference if you put your hand near the top vents afterward. The third is motion processing. Look for ME, MEMC, or motion enhancement. Set it to off. Not low, off. The consumer cinema mode often leaves a residual version of this, running even when you think you disabled it. Turning it off at the root is why film finally looks like film instead of a live broadcast. You will notice it most in a slow panning shot, where faces finally stop looking like wax. If you own an OLED, there is one extra toggle worth 10 seconds of your time. Look for Pixel Orbiter or ASBL, Anti-Static Brightness Limiter. On many OLEDs, this burn-in protection is present, but not enabled by default. Enabling it costs you nothing visually and measurably reduces permanent image retention over 3 to 5 years. It is a small act of care for a panel you plan to live with for years. If you ever sell the television, run a full factory initialization from inside the service menu, not the consumer reset. The consumer reset does not clear service values, and you do not want the next owner living with changes they do not know exist. It is basic courtesy, like wiping your data before handing over a phone. There you have it. Not a trick to make your TV louder or brighter, but a quiet door that was always there underneath the menu you were given. It is a reminder that the best version of the things you already own is rarely the version you were first sold. When you understand that your set was tuned to win a showroom and not to respect your living room, you stop blaming your eyes and you start asking who decided what good should look like. If this changed how you see the screen you already own, tell me in the comments what brand and year you checked and what you found. And if you want more explanations that make invisible systems visible, subscribe to Thoughtful Explains. I will see you in the next one where we open something else they never wanted you to find.